know y'all loving this shit right here. L-I-M-P, biscuit is right here. People in the house, put your hands in the air, because if you don't care, then we don't care.
We should start every episode of JCU singing Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, that'd be...
We're going to eventually run out of Limp Bizkit.
I don't think so, dude.
No?
I don't think so.
No. Never fault on the Limp Bizkit, brother.
Fred Durst is here with us.
Yeah. What's up, homies? I don't know how he actually sounds, dude. Whatever.
I don't think he sounds like
Welcome to Haunts, Graves, and Omens.
Welcome.
Sorry for the delay for these episodes. This will be the second episode releasing this week, so check it out. Check out the one that came before this. It's super fun. We had lots of laughs.
Yeah, it was an episode.
Right?
Yeah.
We're recording this. We're definitely not recording this beforehand.
No.
Super crazy. But I'll start off the episode with a nice quote relating to today's subject matter.
You didn't even do introductions.
Oh yes, of course. My name is Fred Stewart, and with me as always is my lovely co-host.
It's me. It's Taylor, and then Jax is also here.
And with us
there
running, oh my god, and with us running cameras and sound is Marty Cowlick.
It is I.
It's Marty Cowlick.
It is I, the Marty Cowlick.
Look at Jax being all cozy, dude. Cozy puppy.
He gets comfy. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And I'm going to open today's episode with a quote from our subject. All my life I wanted to be a bank robber. Carry a gun, wear a mask. Now that it's happened, I guess I'm just about the best bank robber they ever had. And I sure am happy.
Oh.
Pretty fun, right?
So we're talking about bank robbery.
Yes, we are talking about bank robberies. Taylor, do you remember who we're talking about this week? No.
I got the memory of a goldfish. You said it, and then about 3 seconds later, it was gone.
Yeah,
I remember.
You haven't even been told, Marty.
Fred told me a few days ago.
Did you?
I don't remember.
Can I say it?
Well, let me open the show first.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. On July 22nd, 1934 at 8:30 p.m. in Chicago, Illinois, in just a few short moments, shots will ring out in front of the historic Biograph Theater. When the smoke clears, one of the most prolific criminals of all time is found dead. But in order to understand the ending, we must first understand who this man was, what they did, and the group that they ran with. This is the story of...
John Dillinger.
Good
and the
job,
Dillinger
Marty.
Gang. Not just John Dillinger, but the fucking
Don Dillinger.
John Dillinger Jim Game. Mm-hmm.
Don Dillinger.
Do you guys know anything about John Dillinger?
No. The name sounds really familiar, but...
No, I don't think so. I think there's a weapon, or is there a weapon called the Dillinger?
Perhaps. I know that there's a metal band called the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, okay.
Who, coincidentally enough, while we're filming this, they just announced 3 dates where they're going to do like reunion shows at.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is super wild. I just saw that today.
I kept hearing a noise, like a booming noise, and I wondered it was some planes flying over. Oh. Some jets.
Probably, most likely.
We are on a flight path, are we not?
We are indeed on a flight path. Man, my brain is melted. I drank a fucking energy drink before this, dude. I'm like, flight path. Flight path. It's fine.
Don Dillinger and his flight path.
Yeah, cop the fucking sick HGO hoodie, dude. Custom made. Look at that shit, brother. People want like cool HGO shirts. Let me know, dude. I'll start putting some shirts out. Got a UFO, ghost, fucking werewolf, little skinwalker, and a knife, dude. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Now, are you guys ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
Oh,
You ready?
Okay, now I'm ready.
Now you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
All right. John Dillinger was born June 22nd, 1903 at 2053 Cooper Street in Indianapolis, Indiana. The younger of 2 children born to John Wilson Dillinger and Mary Ellen Molly Lancaster. Dillinger's parents had married on August 23rd, 1887. Dillinger's father was a grocer by trade and reportedly not a very nice guy.
Oh.
In interviews with reporters, Dillinger said that he was firm in his discipline and believed in the saying of like, spare the rod, spoil the child. Very just not a very nice guy, obviously. Dillinger's older sister, Audrey, was born in 1889, and the mother died in 1907, just before his 4th birthday. Audrey married Emmett Fred Hancock that year and had 7 children, which is insane. That's a lot of kids. She cared for her brother, John, for several years until their father remarried in 1912. They later had 3 children. So, as a teenager, Dillinger was frequently in trouble for fighting and petty theft. He was also noted for his bewildering personality and bullying of smaller children. You know, it definitely seems like this is just, you see that a lot with bullies and stuff like that, is that their at-home life isn't the best.
Right.
And they're acting out in ways against other people. He, I got a hair in my mic, excuse me. He quit school to work in an Indianapolis machine shop. His father feared that the city was corrupting his son, prompting him to relocate the family to none other than Mooresville, Indiana in 1921. Anything but that. Jesus Christ. Dillinger's wild and rebellious behavior was unchanged, was also unhinged, despite his new rural life. In 1922, he was arrested for auto theft, and his relationship with his father began to deteriorate even more. In 1923, Dillinger's troubles resulted in him enlisting in the United States Navy, where he was a petty officer, 3rd class machinery repairman assigned aboard the battleship, the USS Utah. Oh. But he deserted after a few months, and when the ship was docked in Boston, he eventually was dishonestly discharged some months later. So,
well, that didn't last very long.
Not very long. Dillinger returned to Mooresville, where he met Beryl Ethel Hovius. Sure. The two married in April 12th, 1924. He attempted to settle down, but he had difficulty. Unable to find a job, he began planning a robbery with his friend Ed Singleton, who was an ex-convict. The two robbed a grocery store, stealing $50. Whoa, watch out.
To be fair, though,
$50 in 1924
to now is probably
a couple hundred.
Yeah, if you want to look it up.
Say, yeah.
While leaving the scene, the criminals were seen by a minister who recognized the men and reported them to the police. During the robbery, Dillinger had struck a victim on the head with a machine bolt wrapped in a cloth and also carried a gun, which, although it discharged, hit no one. Dude had a fucking AD while just robbing this grocery store.
Crazy.
So he just like just rips a round off. Like, I apologize. How much was it?
Does anyone want to take a guess?
I'm going to say about $1,000.
I'm going to say $300.
$897.81.
Okay.
So you were closer if it's a game.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's The Price is Right, he went over and I win.
Man, I never win. The two men were arrested the next day. Singleton pleaded not guilty, but after Dillinger's father, the local Mooresville church deacon, discussed the matter with the Morgan County prosecutor, Omar O'Haro, his father convinced Dillinger to confess to the crime and plead guilty without retaining a defense attorney. Dillinger was convicted of assault and battery with the intent to rob and conspiracy to commit a felony. He expected a lenient probation sentence as a result of his father's discussion with O'Haro, but was sentenced instead to 10 to 20 years in prison for his crimes. So,
no leniency.
That kind of fucked him over, but he's like, the gods will save you.
Not only that, like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes there's more leniency for if you actually confess, but apparently not.
Well, in a lot of cases, they'll be like, you plead guilty, we'll give you a plea deal of like, you'll only do like 5 years.
At least now. They maybe didn't do that back then.
Well, they I know they did, but I think that maybe in this case they were just like, whatever, put the gavel down. He pleaded with the judge to shorten his sentence, but without success. En route to Mooresville to testify against Singleton, Dillinger briefly escaped his captors, but was apprehended within minutes.
Not a very good escape artist.
This would actually become, not a very good escape artist, but this will become a key thing throughout this entire story. Hence why you have the band's The Dillinger Escape Plan. Dillinger was a fucking madman when it came to escape. And we'll get to it later on. There's an escape that he does that's actually like it's straight out of a movie. It's incredible. Singleton had a change of venue, was sentenced to a jail term of 2 to 14 years.
Oh.
He later died on September 2nd, 1937. Just, little over a decade later. Incarcerated at the Indiana Reformatory in Indiana State Prison from 1924 to 1933, Dillinger developed a criminal lifestyle. Upon being admitted to prison, he was quoted saying, "I'll be the meanest bastard you ever saw when I get out of here," which is always a good start.
Yeah, no, it's a really good start.
That's what reforming is about.
Yeah.
I also really like that you're like, he developed a criminal lifestyle. Really?
Yeah, well, he's already in prison, yeah. But
No.
Well, you know what they say when you get to
Shocker.
prison, you find the biggest, baddest dude and you suck his dick.
I was going to say you fucking just suck on that fucking thing, dude.
I think the
just
term
go
is
like-
actually you
Oh,
make friends
you think you're
with
tough?
them, but
How many people did you go? I killed 57 people, and he's like, huh.
I think the term is that you make friends with that person, but
By sucking his dick.
no,
Yeah, by twiddling those fucking ball hairs.
that's
yeah.
not actually said, but maybe it's implied.
It is implied. But that it is really funny that it's like Indiana Reformatory, like, we're going to reform you and get you guys back out in society. And he's like, I'm going to be the meanest motherfucker you've ever met once I escape here. It's like, all right, that's a good start.
We're having a good time.
Yeah, and to make things even worse for Dillinger, his physical examination while at prison showed that he had gonorrhea, and the treatment for the condition was very painful. So dude goes to prison, gets arrested, and there's like, prays for leniency. You're getting 10 to fucking 20 years, has gonorrhea in prison.
Did he get that in prison or before he went?
It seemed like it was beforehand. He became resentful against society because of his long prison sentence and befriended other criminals, including seasoned bank robbers such as Harry Pete Pierpoint, Charles Mackley, and Russell Clark, and Homer Van Meter. Dude's name is fucking Van Meter.
Nice.
I like also that his first name is Homer. I don't take that very seriously as a first name. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like, this is Pete Pierpoint and Charles Mackley, Russell Clark, and Homer. He's like, hey guys.
Like I don't
He's 6'8". He eats the law enforcement that shows up to get the crimes. Anyway, all of them taught Dillinger how to become like a more successful criminal by just kind of going through their crimes and discussing, the mistakes that they made. I'm trying to find this fucking hair. There it is. Got long hair, man. The men planned heists that they would commit soon after being released while in prison. They were just all in there just being like, well, we could hit this place, blah, 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 blah. Dillinger also studied Herman Lamb's meticulous bank robbing system and used it extensively throughout his career. Herman Lamb is another guy that would be really cool to talk about, but Dillinger's father began a campaign to have him released and was able to obtain 188 signatures on a petition.
Wow.
And on May 10th, 1933, after serving 9.5 years in prison, Dillinger was paroled. Hey.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
But was he the biggest, meanest motherfucker anybody ever met?
Well, he will soon
find
turn out.
out.
He will soon turn out to be released. He was released during the height of the Great Depression. Dillinger, did attempt to find a job. I will say he definitely tried. He went out and looked. He walked outside those prison walls and went, I guess I'm going back to crime. Just immediately, literally immediately.
It do be like
Gets released on May 10th, right?
yeah.
On May 21st, 1933, he robbed his first bank, stealing $10,000 from the New Carlsine National Bank. He then went on to rob the commercial bank in Daleville, Indiana for $3,500 on July 17th. And then the Montpelier National Bank in Montpelier, Indiana for $1,600 on August 4th.
The dude is making bank.
Yeah, dude was just
That's
hitting banks real fast.
yeah, because like that's a lot of
Yeah, I'll have a total later on of how much money he got collectively, and
Yeah.
it's insane because we haven't even met the gang yet of this aspect. I mean, this is just John Dillinger. I mean,
Right.
we've brought in a couple names, but like Not everybody yet. There's a fucking list of names of these people. On August 14th, Dillinger robbed a bank in Bluffton, Ohio, gaining about $6,000 from that robbery. He was tracked by police from Dayton, Ohio. He was then captured and later transferred to Allen County Jail in Lima to be indicted on connection to the Bluffton robbery. After searching him before putting him back in prison, police discovered a document which appeared to be a prison escape plan.
Oh.
Dare I say, the Dillinger escape plan.
You know, I think it's probably a bad idea that he got caught with that.
Probably. They demanded that Dillinger tell them what the document meant, and he said, no.
I'm not gonna.
They literally were like, listen here, copper, I'm telling you something. Officer Cowick.
Oh, me?
Yeah, do you want to know about my escape plan?
No. Yes.
I'm going with no. He's like, fuck. Damn, you tricked me, you son of a bitch. Fine, I'll tell you. No, I won't.
Maybe I will.
And then they
Maybe
beat him
I
with
won't.
nightsticks in his fucking cell. Just
Oh my
Earlier, while in prison, Dillinger had helped conceive a plan to enable escape from Pierpoint. Had helped enable a plan for the escape of Pierpoint, Clark, and 6 others while he was in prison, who most of them worked in the prison laundry. Dillinger had friends smuggle guns into their cells, which they used to escape 4 days after Dillinger's capture.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really waited 4 days?
Yeah, after he was captured, they were like, go. And they immediately fucking broke out, and they had their guns and shit, and they were like, fucking open the fucking cells, and they escaped.
I feel like, I don't know, that you would wait a little bit just so they already caught you with your fucking escape plan. Like, give it a week.
Well, Dillinger wasn't with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, hold on. Dillinger was with them for this.
Okay, yeah, no, they should have waited just a little bit longer. They already knew he had an escape plan. Like, they were probably already on high alert.
Yeah.
They probably should have waited a minute. I don't know. Just thinking here.
No, actually, I was wrong. I was actually wrong.
not.
So Dillinger was not with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I misread this because the next part is where everything else happens. Okay. So the group that escaped formed the first Dillinger Gang. Consisted of Pierpoint, Clark, Markley, Ed Schaus, Harry Copeland, and John Red Hamilton, a member of the Hamilton Lamb Gang. So Pierpoint, Clark, and Markley arrived in Lima on October 12th, 1933, where they impersonated Indiana State police officers, claiming they had come to extricate Dillinger to Indiana.
Yeah, see, we're here to get Dillinger. Yeah, see?
That's the most Indiana man I've ever seen.
That man is Mr. Indiana himself there.
Just imagine this. Like, I could not see whether or not like they got like outfits or anything like that. Like, I couldn't like find any information about that. So these guys escaped prison. They're like, we gotta go get John out. And then they just show up like in prison outfits, and they're like, "We're police officers." Like, where you guys from? And they're like, it's just Indiana State Penitentiary, and they're like, in Indiana. And they're like, all right, he's literate. He's definitely from Indiana.
Sounds about right.
When Sheriff Jess Sarber asked for credentials, Pierpoint pulled out a pistol and fucking shot him in the face. Just kills him. Then they went and got Dillinger from his cell, and the 4 men escaped back to Indiana, where they joined the rest of the gang. This is the first death. There's going to be a lot of them throughout the rest of this story. But yeah, the sheriff just doing his job, walks up and goes, "Where's your credentials?" Pulls the guns out, boom, kills him. Just kills him. Fucking no like, oh, we'll fight him, whatever. Just immediately kills him.
Jeez.
Just insane. So it gets even more insane because these guys, they're ready to start hitting banks. So they're already wanted for murder, wanted for escape. You know, they got nothing out. They got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
So to obtain more supplies, the gang started attacking state police arsenals in Auburn, Indiana, and Peru, Indiana. And they fucking did it. They got through, stealing machine guns, rifles, revolvers, ammunition, and at the time, rudimentary bulletproof vests. Like old school bulletproof vests.
Wow. So they got everything.
They fucking robbed the police.
Wow.
That's not a sentence you hear very
That's
often.
not sentence that you ever hear. Yeah.
We're going to just go ahead and rob the police.
you, Marty.
Unfortunately, there's no Jax cam, but you see this man?
he's slumped. Tired.
It's like, there we go.
Tired baby.
How's your arm doing? Tired yet?
No, it's fine.
Hard.
My leg's a little tired, but it's fine.
Yeah. So they steal all this weaponry and this body armor and this ammunition. And on October 23rd, 1933, the gang robbed the Central National Bank and Trust Company in Greencastle, Indiana, making off with $74,802.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
In 1933, it's a lot of money. Yeah. They take that and they go to Chicago to go hide. Now, somewhere around this time, Dillinger met Evelyn Billy Franchetti, and the two began a relationship somewhere during November of 1933. Now, I don't really know what happened to Dillinger's actual wife. There's not really. I was looking. I couldn't really find anything.
Maybe they got divorced after.
Yeah, probably. She was like, he's going to prison, so
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna be married to him anymore.
Or he just up and left her, and
That's probably more likely.
it's very fitting for the time, honestly.
He goes,
Just
I'm gonna go get some cigarettes and milk. It's like,
Well-
both are delivered to the door, honey. He's like, well, I'm gonna go get them.
I'm going to go get the guy who delivers cigarettes and milk.
And I'm gonna go suck his dick. Now, he's the biggest, scariest milk cigarette man on this block.
They're delivered by the same person.
It's just the same guy. He's like, I escaped and now I've made a life for myself. Hopefully nobody tries to come and suck my dick. And then you
I'm
see
gonna
Dillinger running down the
deliver.
street, full sprint.
Milk and cigarettes.
Cigarette milk, anybody?
Throwback
Yeah.
to the first doc episode right there.
yeah, for real, yeah.
Ugh.
That's funny. So the gang now with Miss Franchetti. I think it might be Franchette, but Franchetti sounds more Italiano. Franchetti. That's what-
Franchetti.
Franchetti? Franchette?
Cannoli.
Franchette?
It's Frechette.
Frechette? Frechette? Sure. Whatever.
No N, so.
Frechette? Sure. Anyway, they traveled to Racine, Wisconsin, and robbed the American Bank and Trust Company, making off with $28,000 somewhere around that time and throughout November. On December 14th, 1933, CPT detective William Shanley was killed by the gang. The police had been put on high alert and suspected the Dillinger Gang of involvement in the robbery of the Unity Trust and Savings Bank, making off with $8,700 the day before. The robbery was eventually determined to have been the work of another outfit. Shanley was following up on a tip that one of the gang's cars had been seen being serviced at a local garage. John Red Hamilton showed up to that garage that afternoon. When Shanley approached him, Hamilton pulled out a pistol, shot him twice,
Jeez.
killing Shanley. They then escaped. Shanley's murder led the Chicago Police Department the establishment of a 40-man, quote, Dillinger squad to go hunt him down.
That's pretty cool sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by this point, from all the robberies, this has only been a couple months, right? I would say maybe about 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months. By this point, from all the robberies, the gang has, best way to put it, tactically acquired $162,000 or $162,002. Yeah. They tactically acquired.
Well, I think the technical term is that they fucking stole it.
Tactically acquired. That's what. Think about it. What is a tactical acquiring something? You're taking something. With the law hot on their trail, the Dillinger Gang split up for a short time, but later reconvened in a true cesspit. I'm talking a wasteland of misery and despair where only the scum of the fucking earth live.
Just get the name out.
Just the most disgusting place on the planet. Daytona Beach, Florida. No.
Yeah, I knew it was just going to be somewhere
in Florida.
random.
Yeah. I can't get you guys with it anymore, can I? Yeah, I've done that bit so many times.
I knew
it always makes me laugh. We've been doing HGO for fucking over 2 years, So I've done that bit so many times and it makes me laugh every time. Just if you're from Daytona Beach, just know I think your town is probably just full of trailer parks and meth. So it's like the Longview, Washington of Florida, but like big.
But big.
Big.
Dillinger and Evelyn were at a house in Daytona Beach, Florida by December 19th. A day or two later, they were joined by the rest of the members of the gang. These were Pierpoint, Mackley, Russell Clark, and a person known as Opal Long. Edwin Utter. Looks like Uter. Edwin Uter was the caretaker who occupied the garage apartment at the same address. And he told how the couples did not bother anyone, quote, they kept to themselves and had no outside contacts. As far as he knew, he didn't see anyone visit him. Just nice, quiet people. And they go, oh, those are some nice people over there just minding their own business here in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Maybe.
To Uter, the group had the appearance of gangsters.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, right? Surprising.
Yeah.
Some in the group at the time, someone in the group at some time mentioned to him that they were coming from Chicago. Uter said the group received a considerable amount of mail. After the gang had gone, several letters came addressed to Frank Kirkley, an alias of Dillinger, J.C. Davies, an alias of Mackley's, and J.C. Evans, an alias of Pierpoint.
They both used the name J.C.?
Yes, yeah. I was about to quote on that. Cool. It's fucking, he's like, I'll be Frank Kirkley. That'll be my name. That's the easiest name I can think of. A good alias for me, for Dillinger. And then Mackley's like, I'll be J.C. Davies. That's a good name for me. And then fucking Pierpoint's like, I'll be J.C. Evans.
Like, why didn't they at least have the same last name and they could be brothers or some shit, but like the same first name?
Yeah.
As if JC is a common fucking name.
The FBI is like looking for him, looking for the fucking Dillinger Gang. And then they're like, there's no way two JCs live in the same house. Ever since the ordinance passed in Daytona Beach, Florida, that's not allowed. And they kick down the front door and they go, where are the two JCs? We got to shoot them.
We gotta shoot one of them.
One of them.
There can only be one JC in Daytona.
That's our Lord Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But as the gang had not left any forwarding address for all the letters, they were returned to the postman. Uter stated that there was a considerable drinking going on, especially at night. Surprise, surprise.
Oh my God.
I would never drink at night.
They were drinking at night?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Well, they're just committing
Psychopaths.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's why I only drink really early in the mornings. Get the shakes away. He said the gang stayed at the cottage until about January 12th. They left that night. Just disappeared. The January date would have been, posed a yet another problem for Dillinger's defense team, as he had gone to trial for the Officer O'Malley killing, what we talked about originally. So while Mackley, Clark, and Pierpoint extended their vacation by driving west to Tucson, Arizona, which is absolutely not.
That's not too far from.
They go, you know what's even worse than Daytona Beach, Florida?
Tucson, Arizona.
I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Or anywhere in Arizona for that fucking matter.
It's just Mackley, Clark, and Pierpoint, and then Jackie Daytona. Which is very funny that I just connected that just now.
Yeah.
He's like, I have a beach back there in Florida. Any What We Do in the Shadows fans? Anybody? Dillinger left Florida on January 12th and met up with Hamilton in Chicago at noon on January 15th. A meeting that had been arranged between the two men while Dillinger was in Daytona Beach. Later that afternoon, they robbed the First National Bank in East Chicago.
Oh.
So they said, oh, it's so good to see you, friend. Now let's go rob this fucking bank. Obviously. It's so nice. So East Chicago marked the first serious violence occurred at a Dillinger robbery. Because at this point, there's been no, like, violence towards patrons. It's always been like, this cop, dead. This other cop, dead. Just killing cops.
Wasn't like during a robbery.
Wasn't during a robbery. It was just they were getting too close. They killed them. That was it. This would become a trend that would continue through South Bend, which is the last job. Now, killed by Dillinger was East Chicago patrolman William Patrick O'Malley, the outlaw's first and only murder victim. This is the only guy that John Dillinger kills, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He doesn't. So it sounds like he doesn't do a lot of the killing.
No, it's everybody else does all the killing. At approximately 2:50 p.m., 10 minutes before closing, Dillinger, Hamilton, and an identified driver pulled up in front of the bank on Chicago Avenue on the wrong side of the street, facing east in the westbound lane, double parked. What an asshole. They exited the vehicle, leaving the driver in the car while it was idled. Hamilton waited in the bank's vestibule while Dillinger entered the main room of the bank. Once inside, Dillinger leisurely opened up a leather case that was containing a Thompson, a Tommy gun, if you will.
Of course, yes.
Pulls it out and yells to the 20, 30 people in the bank, "This is a stick-up. Put up your hands and get your back against the wall." See?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Put your hands against put your hands and back against put your hands up.
Put your hands on your back.
Put your hands
Get on the ground and sit crisscross applesauce.
Do a funny dance. Do like a fun TikTok dance. Do it. Hit me with it. Do a Fortnite emote. Now
All the young tingies are TikToking.
So the bank's vice president, Walter Spencer, while hiding, kicked a button which touched off the burglar alarm.
Oh, wow.
Dillinger then went to the door of the vestibule and told Hamilton to come on in. Come on in, brother. Hamilton produced a small leather bag and began scooping up the cash, cage by cage. Dillinger told him, "Take your time. We're in no hurry." Just as calm and as collected as he could possibly be. Meanwhile, the first police arrived on scene after receiving the alarm at the police headquarters. 4 officers arrived: Patrick O'Malley, Hobart Wilgus, I swear to God, Hobart Wilgus,
Great.
Pete Whalen, and Julius Sharenko. After a quick look,
I think the Hobart Willis guy was a huge guy, and Wilbert Shrinko was a tiny man.
Hobart Wilgus, they're like, "We have no body armors that can fit him, dude." He's like,
You don't need them.
like Hobart's on his way. Like, how can you tell?
And Wilbert's riding on his shoulders.
Listen.
Wilbert Shrinko.
Yeah, Julius Shrinko just on his shoulder. Like,
Julius
Yeah, see, we're gonna go get the bad guy, see? I'm afraid of nothing, see? I ain't afraid of no robbers.
I'm just picturing in my head of like a fucking like 15-foot cop with his tiny shirt, it's like barely fits over his belly and just like he's got a tiny little police hat.
Oh my gosh.
After a quick look through the windows of the bank, the officers could see a holdup that was in progress and that one of the men was carrying a submachine gun. Sharenko ran to a nearby drugstore and called for backup. Like, this is back in the day before handheld radios, so He's like, oh shit, I'll be right back. And he just keeps running.
This is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and then he skinned his knees. He's like, I'll go to the drugstore, and he just comes in like, can I get a Band-Aid in your phone?
Where's the milk and cigarettes guy?
He's getting his dick sucked by another member of the Dillinger Gang. While Stranko was calling headquarters, Wilgus, Hobart, if you will, entered the bank by himself.
Actually.
And was soon covered by Dillinger. The outlaw relieved him of his pistol, emptied the cartridges, then tossed it back at the officer.
He was doing him a favor, honestly. He was relieving him of it.
Yeah, he goes, I'm going to relieve you of your pistol. And he's like,
No.
no way. Because he's 10 feet, 15 feet tall. He's like, oh, you're really going to relieve me of my pistol? And he's like, yeah. That's a fucking scary image, though. Like, not like the bit, but like that, where the guy, he like walks in, he's like got his revolver out, and Dillinger's like, put your hands up. And he's like, puts his hands up, and he goes up, takes his pistol, empties it, and then just tosses the gun back at him. And it's like, oh fuck. That's almost somehow worse.
But also, like
you get to live for now.
I'd be afraid to like move to catch it, because like you move to catch it.
It's like
fucking.
It's like, thanks, champ. And then he fucking puts a round in your
Like,
forehead.
yeah, he fucking shoots you for trying to catch it. Like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Referring to his Thompson, Dillinger told Hobart, you oughtn't be afraid of this thing. I ain't even sure it'll shoot. Which is not something, which is also another slap in the face. He fucking takes his gun, empties it, throws his empty gun back at him, and he goes, I'm pretty sure this gun doesn't even work. It's just like, what the fuck, man? That's
Like,
crazy.
Wow.
How dare you? Turning his attention to Hamilton, Dillinger said, don't let these coppers outside worry you. Take your time and be sure to get all the dough. We'll take care of them birds on the outside when we get out there. Pretty 1930s gangster, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Dillinger then discovered the hiding VP, Spencer, and ordered him against the wall with everybody else. Yeah, which is also super scary. He's just like, please don't fucking shoot me. Please don't shoot me. Shrenko was called for backup, emptied the station of everyone but its phone operator. 4 more officers arrived, Captain Tim O'Neill and Ed Knight, and officers Nick Rainish and Lloyd Mulvihill. That's crazy.
Mulvihill.
Yeah, and he'll pop back up later on.
Oh.
These 4 officers joined the other 3 in positions on either side of the Chicago Avenue entrance of the bank. Apparently, not one of them noticed the getaway car double parked on the wrong side of the street, right outside the bank door, with its driver sitting unconcerned in the seat while its motor was running.
They just didn't look, didn't notice. They're like, huh, interesting.
Well, they talk about this a lot, and this is definitely a stress-inducing situation.
Yeah.
You know, is to not get tunnel vision. Because you're getting tunnel vision, you're so primarily focused on this one thing, you're not seeing the big picture.
Right.
And that's probably what happened is they're like, this dude has a fucking machine gun, and I have my dinky little revolver.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them in there, and they might both have machine guns, and there's a cop in there. And like, they like, what the fuck is happening, you know? I mean, while the guy's just like sitting in the, the driver's seat and like, I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. just chilling. Yeah.
He's like, if I don't move, they won't see me. They're like T-Rex. If you just don't move, cops don't see you.
It's like the dumbest scene from Baby Driver, you know, like where like they just like cuts to like the cops like pulling in like getting out, and they're like, oh, lock down this avenue, we'll get all these civilians out of here, and then it just cuts back to the car and just like, you never feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again, just vibing, and they're like, he's clearly not a robber.
No. Obviously not.
So Dillinger then ordered the Vice President Spencer and Hobart Wilgus to lead the way out of the bank, acting as shields. The 4 walked down the sidewalk towards the car. O'Malley, standing about 20 feet from the front door, saw an opening and fired 4 times at Dillinger, the bullets bouncing off the outlaw's bulletproof vest.
Whoa, shit.
Yeah. Dillinger pushed Spencer out of the way with the barrel of his Thompson and yelled, "Get over! I'll get that son of a bitch!" and opened fired. O'Malley fell dead with 8 holes in a line across his chest.
Jeez.
Damn, he fucked up.
He got him. As Hamilton made his way into the street, he took a bullet to the right hand, causing him to drop an emptied pistol. Dillinger kept firing until he climbed into the rear seat of the car. Fucking just an insane couple of seconds. Like probably like maybe 10, 15 seconds. So he just like, get out of my son, bitch. And just fucking shreds this dude and just keeps just dumping rounds.
But also the fact that he didn't fire first.
No.
And the fact that he moved a guy out of the way.
Moved him out of the way to shoot the other guy that was shooting at him.
Yeah.
It's
so
real weird.
Wild.
It's super wild because it's almost like he didn't want to kill people. That's what it seems like throughout this story. That he doesn't necessarily want to kill people. He just wants the money. That's all he cares about.
Someone shoots at him, so he's just returning the fire that was shot at him.
Yeah. And I don't know what Tommy guns fired back in the day, but I think it was like 45 ACP, so like fat 9mm essentially.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just imagining him with the old school drum mag. You know, that's probably what he had on it. Because I also found out, I never found out, but I know from previous like looking into stories like this, is that back in the day, like this is pre-World War II. So like post-World War II is more common, but you could literally just go down to the store. Or like open a catalog for like a magazine, right?
Oh yeah, and buy a Tommy gun out of a magazine.
Order Tommy gun. So you put your thing in there, put your check in the mail, and then a Tommy gun, a fully automatic gun, would just show up to your door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that.
Which is just insane to me. So I imagine it has the drum mag and shit like that. So he's just like, out the way, you son of a, I'm gonna get that son of a bitch, and just, and then just begins to just start just dumping an insane amount of firepower.
Yeah.
Just at the cops. Hits
Also,
the cop in the one hand.
Fun fact. Gun works.
It does indeed work. Mm-hmm. That is also
true. You figured it out.
Yes, the gun does indeed work. So 2 game wardens who had driven up to the scene emptied their guns into the car as it started to pull away. The car actually started to pull away before Hamilton closed the left rear door, and the door was partially torn off as it caught another vehicle.
Wow.
So just ripped the door off partially. The Ohio plates used in the gang's earlier robbery of the Greencastle Bank in October were used on the East Chicago getaway car. Police believe the car, quote, may have been a Plymouth, but was indeed actually a 1934 Ford 2-door sedan. So
not a Plymouth.
Not a Plymouth. The abandoned car was found the following day at Bryan Street and California Avenue in Chicago. So they ditched it and they fled.
Makes sense.
Every officer, as well as numerous witnesses inside the bank, identified Dillinger as being one of the robbers and the gang member who shot Officer O'Malley. Prints were taken of the piece of Hamilton's left. Prints were taken of the piece Hamilton left behind, which identified him. Dillinger was officially charged with Officer O'Malley's murder. Although the identify of the actual killer is debatable, it is still questioned by some whether Dillinger participated in the robbery at all. But I'm going to go and say that he probably did.
Yeah, no, probably.
I feel like people who were there can probably be like, yeah, this dude held a fucking Tommy gun to my face. And then was like, here's your gun back. I think you're going to probably remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As police began closing in again, the men left Chicago to the first hideout in Florida. Later at the Gardner Hotel in El Paso, Texas, where a highly visible police presence dissuaded Dillinger from trying to cross the Santa Fe Bridge into downtown El Paso to Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. They instead crossed the border further south in Texas and eventually made their way back to Tucson, Arizona.
Oh.
Yeah. Going back. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back.
While you were talking, he was falling asleep. He was swaying. He almost fell a couple times.
God. Lick my ear as I bent down to grab some.
He tired.
These Hot Grays and Omens episodes always get him so sleepy.
He's so tired, but he won't lay down.
he's so tired. So, on January 21st, 1934, a fire broke out at the Hotel Congress in Tucson, Arizona, where members of the Dillinger Gang were staying. Forced to leave their luggage behind, they were rescued through a window and down a fire truck ladder.
Wow.
Like, fucking insane. Wild, right? Mackley and Clark tipped several firemen $12 each, according to a FBI report, to climb back up and retrieve the luggage. According to the firefighters, a good look at several of the members were indeed the Dillinger Gang.
Of course.
Which is crazy. Like, you roll up and you're like, we got a multi-story building, we got fire and smoke showing. Get the old ladder up. And so they get like the old fire truck ladder goes up, dude, and they go up. They're like, come on, get out of here. Let's get out of here. And they get out, and then they're like, are you okay? And he goes, I'll give you $12 and let me back up there. It's like, all right, yeah, $12. And pockets it, and the guy climbs back into a burning building to grab their stuff.
God, yeah.
One of the firefighters, William Benedict, later recognized Mackley, Pierpoint, and Ed Schaus while thumbing through a copy of True Detective and informed the police, who traced Mackley's luggage to 927 North 2nd Avenue. Police from the Tucson Police Department went to the address on the afternoon of January 25th, and there arrested Clark after a struggle. They found in possession of him $1,264.70 in cash.
So
That's a lot of money to have in cash back then.
That's a lot of money to have in cash back then, for sure. And they just got him, just like that. They fought with him, probably had a tussle. So Mackley was then followed to the Grab Electric and Radio store on Congress Street, where he was looking at a radio capable of picking up police calls, and he was apprehended there. He had in his possession $794.09 in cash.
Wow.
So 2 down, arrested.
Nice.
To capture Pierpoint, the police staged a routine traffic stop and lured him to the police station, where they took him by surprise and arrested him. I can't say it was probably that much of a surprise. They go, I need you to pull over right next to in front of that police station where all those armed cops are standing waiting for you. And he's like, all right. Pulls over. You know? There was $99.81 recovered in Pierpoint's personal effects. And Mary Kinder was with him, and they had $3,116.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. Dillinger was the last one taken, caught when he returned to the bungalow where Clark was captured. He had about $7,000 in his possession, including notes from his robbery of the First National Bank in East Chicago. He had a series of notes that said like A00919 through A001107. These amounts, along with the leather bag, so the leather money bag found, totaled over $25,000 in cash, as well as a cache of machine guns and several automatic weapons. The gang was extradited to the Midwest after debate between prosecutors as to where the gang should be prosecuted first.
What year was this?
This was 1934. Yes, 1934.
That is $562,115.53.
562,000.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, from those first set of robberies, I had 164,000. Right. What's that in today's money?
164,000.
Yeah. 164,000 in today's money was just from their first initial couple robberies up leading up to this point.
That was also 1934?
Yeah, that was like 1933.
It is.
You got it, champ.
You're not making this easy, Jax. $3,744,208.31.
That's fucking insane. $3 million.
Yeah.
That's insane.
3.7 mil.
That's incredible. So there's a lot of debate where they should send the men first to be prosecuted, things like that. The governor compromised and ordered that Dillinger would be extricated to the Lake County Jail in Crown Point for Officer O'Malley's murder and the East Chicago robbery, while Pierpoint, Mackley, and Clark were sent to Ohio to stand trial for Sheriff Sarber's murder. Schaus's testimony on at the March 1934 trials of Pierpoint, Mackley, and Clark led to all three men being convicted. Pierpoint and Mackley received the death penalty, while Clark received a life sentence.
Oh.
On September 22nd, Mackley would be shot dead by guards when he and Pierpoint attempted to escape with fake pistols that were carved from bars of soap and painted black with shoe polish.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's wild.
Crazy.
Just gets gunned down. Insane. Pierpoint was wounded and executed on October 17th of that year. Clark would ultimately be released in 1968, dying of cancer a few months later. Which is pretty wild that think about the time aspect of this. Dillinger was flown back from Douglas Airport in Tucson to Midway Airport in Chicago over the course of 2 days with the Lake County Chief Deputy Carol Hawley, which was Sheriff Lindley Hawley's nephew, and East Chicago Police Chief Nick Macar escorting the outlaw. The plane departed Tucson at 11:14 p.m. on Monday, January 29th. After a stop in Douglas, Arizona, they had to do a plane change. They went to El Paso, Abilene, Dallas, did another plane change, Fort Worth, Little Rock, and Memphis to another plane change. It was a Ford tri-motor. Remember we saw the fun Mysteries Museum. They had the Ford airplane. Same one. You got it, champ.
Memory of a goldfish.
Yeah. It was one of the few aircrafts that Ford actually made. It was a Ford tri-motor, had a motor on the front, 2 motors on the sides. Super weird looking. Anyway, airplane talk. There was yet another stop in St. Louis where Chicago Times reporter and photographer Sol Davis boarded the aircraft and was obliged by Dillinger to take a few photos and ask some questions. After a while, growing weary of the questions and being photographed, the outlaw told Davis, "Go away and let me sleep." Dillinger's brutal flight schedule ended about 6 p.m. January 20th when the plane finally touched down at Midway. Waiting for him on the ground were 32 heavily armed Chicago policemen.
Jeez.
They are not fucking around with Dillinger.
Definitely not.
Dude has escaped, has stolen over $3 million.
Yeah.
And shot a cop in basically cold blood.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, if you total it, it's
lukewarm blood.
If you total it, it's like almost 4 million.
Almost 4 million.
It's actually 4 million, I think.
Yeah, at this point, it's like, yeah. It's a lot of money. A 13-car caravan consisting of 29 troops from Indiana was ready to escort Dillinger to Crown Point, 30 miles away, to be tried for the killing of Officer O'Malley. This next part always made me laugh when I read this. The local police boasted to area newspapers that the jail was escape-proof and had posted extra guards as a precaution.
That sounds like a test. Not even a test. That sounds like a challenge that someone's going to win.
You know, and I just love it because, like, think about it. They had all these armed guards. They have fucking troops, dude, that came down, helped him escort him to the jail. They're like, we're not letting Dillinger escape no more. It's over.
Escape proof.
Do
you think they said that to him?
I would bet.
Where a cop is like, listen here, buddy, this jail, it's escape proof. You know what? I think Dillinger takes that as a challenge, and I think he'll probably win. Well,
on Saturday, March 3rd, 1934, Dillinger was able to escape during morning exercises with 15 other inmates.
It's escape proof. No, it's fucking not, obviously. Y'all weren't fucking paying attention during morning exercises. Y'all were just dinking around, huh?
Inmate Sherlin I have a way to escape this shithole. Are you ready? Yeah. See that open door that just leads out into like the end of the world? We're just gonna walk through it.
When?
Whenever. Just round some people up, like maybe like 14 other people. We'll just round them up. But we got time.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. 'Cause there's a guard on every other door.
Yeah, no,
that one.
No. They just there's a. Do you see all the giant cartoon arrows that are pointing to the open door that say exit is this way?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just an exit. It's just for safety.
Yeah, no, I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'm just gonna go yell down the hall, and I think we'll get some people, and I don't even think anyone will know.
We're gonna escape this way. Yeah.
We're going this way, guys.
Yeah.
Follow me.
So Dillinger, the way he escaped is very reminiscent of his friends who were killed prior to this. But Dillinger produced a pistol, catching deputies and guards by surprise.
Of course.
Points a gun at him, and he was able to leave the premises without even firing a shot.
Wow.
They just let him go.
Yeah, no, the man doesn't seem like he really wants to kill anyone.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if they shoot at him first, then they kind of he returns. But
Yeah, it's it's really comical. Almost immediately afterwards, conjecture began to whether the gun Dillinger displayed was actually real or not.
I mean,
he has his ways. It probably was a real gun, but good chance it might not have been a real gun.
to be fair, he
Yeah.
did say while robbing the bank, I don't even know if this is gonna work. Like, I don't think this gun even works. So
Yeah. So according to Deputy Ernest Blanc, which is absolutely the most perfect deputy name of all time.
oh yeah,
I'm Deputy Ernest Blanc. I didn't regurgitate high school, and they gave me a gun and a badge. You know, he just sounds like a fun, like, small town, like, deputy.
yeah.
Well, he's like, gee, Sheriff, I don't know where he went. And meanwhile, he's just running off in the distance. According to him, Dillinger had escaped using a real pistol. FBI files, on the other hand, indicate Dillinger used a carved fake pistol.
See, I think he said it was a real pistol, so he didn't have to admit. Yeah, no, he got by with a bar of soap.
Yeah, well,
I didn't do a whole lot.
I don't know, but it looked like real to me. Sam Cahoon, a trustee who Dillinger took hostage in the jail, also believed Dillinger had carved the gun using a razor and some shelving in his cell. In another version, according to an unpublished interview with Dillinger's attorney, Louis Piquet, investigator Art O'Leary claimed to have sneaked in a gun himself. So you're just like, oh, fucking.
It's escape proof, but our security doesn't really check when you come in.
Until they're like, this facility is 100% escape proof, and he walks in, he just has body armor and it's like, just like.
Do you think we should check?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think that'll be fine.
Marty, you falling asleep over there?
I'm listening with my eyes closed.
Yeah, I saw you, dude.
It's like Five Nights at Freddy's all over again.
Me and Jack's all together.
That's awesome. Let's see where we at. We're getting close.
Listen, I'm tired, but I'm not falling asleep, Marty.
I
Get
just
it
got
together.
last night I fucking got woken up by the other two dogs like growling and shit, and then like
It's always
Jax jumped
it's
down
like
off the
2
bed and was
a.m.
like peeing, and I woke up to that. And
Yeah. I had the same problem with Spirit because like she barks when the other dogs start getting rowdy. So at friggin' 2 a.m. I'm like, oh my fucking god.
It was really funny last night that because you fell asleep and Spirit fell asleep on her bed, like out because Spirit will go into her kennel when she's tired. She'll just go in and sleep,
Yeah.
which is super cute. But it's like my little home, like likes to go in her little den, and I forgot that she wasn't in there. So like I was playing Phasmophobia last night, and I get up and I'm all like kind of spooked, but I'm like, that was kind of fun. And then all of a sudden this fucking void just comes out of the dark, and I'm like, whoa! And then she came out and she's like, oh, Dad, and like was like trying to like play, and I'm like, go to bed.
You know the best part? The best part is that she was wearing her jacket still.
Yeah, no.
She like.
I had to
got
like force that jacket off. She did not want to take it off.
You got spooked, and then comes out of the shadows a spirit in a little denim jacket.
Yeah. Scary, dude.
Super scary.
Anyway, on March 16th, Herbert Youngblood, who escaped from Crown Point along.
Best name.
Dude, Herbert Youngblood is such a good name. It's Herbert Youngblood. Good heavens. Anyway, he escaped with Dillinger from Crown Point. He was shot dead by police in Point Huron, Michigan.
Name should be Herbert Dead Blood.
Oh, got him, dude. Herbert No Blood.
Yeah.
Deputy.
Y'all are flexing on a dead man right now. Like,
Come at me, bro. You can't because you're dead.
That's crazy. Deputy Chief Charles Kavanaugh was mortally wounded in the battle and later died. Before he died, Youngblood told officers Dillinger was in a neighborhood of Point Huron. And immediately, officers began a search for the escaped man, but found no trace of him. An Indiana newspaper reported that Youngblood later retracted the story and said that he did not know where Dillinger was at the time, as he had parted ways with him soon after the escape.
oh my gosh.
Dude was a real one, right? Dillinger was indicted by a grand jury. Obviously, he wasn't there, so they did a grand jury indictment, and the Bureau of Investigation, a precursor of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It was
before FBI.
This was before the FBI.
Wow. Pre-FBI.
Yeah, so this was the BOI, Bureau of Investigation, before the FBI.
Yeah.
Wild. Organized a nationwide manhunt for him. Just hours after his escape from the Lake County Jail, Dillinger reunited with his girlfriend, Evelyn Beery Frechette.
I think it's Frechette.
Frechette? Well, I don't give a fuck, dude. Frechette? It's
Evelyn Cannoli.
Yeah. Frechette. According to Frechette's trial testimony, because I know it's a little spoilers, Dillinger stayed with her for almost 2 weeks. However, the two had actually traveled to the Twin Cities and taken lodgings at the Santa Monica Apartments in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they stayed for about 15 days. Dillinger met John Red Hamilton, and the two mustered a new gang consisting of Babyface Nelson's gang, including Nelson, Homer Van Meter, Tommy Carroll, and Eddie Green. This is the crew right here. The crew. Babyface Nelson's ready to party. So, as for the second gang, the gang we talked about previously, as for the second gang, they headed to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, ready for its next score. 3 days after Dillinger's escape, at about 9:45 a.m. on March 6th, a green vehicle, a green 1934 Packard Super 8, a 1934 Kansas and a 1934 license plate, filled with 6 members of the gang, parked near the curb at the Second National Bank and Trust Company in Sioux Falls. One of the bank's bookkeepers, Mary Lucas, looked out the window and saw the Packard roll up the street. Quote, "If I ever saw a hold-up car, that's one," she said to the bank stenographer next to her.
God forbid, God forbid you use a different car to hold up.
But it's funny because she's with her coworker and she's just like, "If I ever saw a hold-up car, that'd be one." And the stenographer laughed and they would go, saying that she had been hearing too much lately about bank robberies. Before they returned to their desk, Dillinger, Nelson, Green, and Van Meter entered the bank and subdued both tellers and customers. They fucking it's just like, oh shit. Wow. Oh shit, bro. Like, that is like the most insane. Like, I love that. Like, I mean, it's terrifying, but it's also at the same time it's just kind of comical. They're like, that looks like a bank robber's car, and they just come out. They're like, "Put your fucking hands up." Sorry. Okay, man.
She looks out the window. She's like, "What'd I tell you?"
I know. I told you.
I told you. Also, I looked it up. By the way, Frechette is appears to be a French last name. So
Frechette.
You don't need to be doing an Italian accent.
Oh, oui, oui. It's Gorgo. Frechette. shit, whatever. Hamilton, the driver, stayed with the car while Tommy Carroll patrolled outside the bank with a Tommy gun while the rest of the guys were inside. Inside, Nelson spotted motorcycle policeman Hale Keith, who was approaching the bank on foot. He fired his Thompson at Keith through the plate glass window while standing on an assistant cashier's counter, which is just another scene from a movie. Dude just standing on it, just shredding. Multiple bullets hit Keith in the abdomen and the right leg, about 6 inches below the hip, the right waist, and the right wrist, and the right arm, just below the elbow. But he would survive. Nelson was reported to have laughed when Keith fell, saying, I got one. Just fucking terrifying. Like, you're just like, you're at your work, dude, and you're just like covering your ears. This dude just ripping automatic shots over the top of your head, shooting at the cops. Wow, this is a lot of really fun names. H.M. Shoebotham, a reporter for the Daily Argus Leader, was in the office of Sheriff Mel Sells. Sheriff Mel Sells. Say that 5 times fast.
Sheriff Mel Sells, Sheriff Mel Sells, Sheriff Mel Sells, Sheriff Mel Sells, Sheriff Mel Sells.
Yeah, see, barely got to the end. At the time of the sheriff receiving the call informing him of the robbery, Mel grabbed a machine gun and riot gear and gave a riot gun to Schubert. So dude gave the reporter a fucking riot gun, was like, here, take this. They both got in a car and drove to the robbery scene 3 blocks away. Which is crazy, dude. Did an interview.
Wild.
It's like you do an interview and all of a sudden you're like, we're going to go shoot some bad guys. Ready? On the way to the bank, Sells figured out his strategy. Across the bank stood the Lincoln Hotel. He planned to reach the second floor window and fire at the robbers. When he reached the bank, scores of spectators were watching the activities. In the center of the street, in front of the bank, Carroll was standing with the machine gun. Occasionally, he would fire a few volleys, supposedly to keep the assembled people impressed.
Oh.
Which is like also really funny that everybody's like, oh, wow. And he's like, just like ripping shots. Everybody's like, oh, it's so fun. It's so fun here.
Do it again.
Meanwhile, Babyface Nelson's like just dancing on the counter, like, I shot one. I got one. And they're like, Dillinger's like, get the fuck down. Put the money in the bag. Get you down off the counter now. Off. And he's like, I'm not getting off the counter. I got one. It's like, packing bags full of money. There exists an actual a photograph taken of Tommy Carroll from across the street during the robbery. An action photo that is most likely unique to the pre-war bank robberies. Sheriff Sells backed his coupe into the alley behind the Lincoln Hotel, took his weapon to the second floor, leaving the Thompson with Schubert, the reporter. So, surrounding themselves with bystanders, the gang backed out of the bank to the Packard, to the vehicle. No officers dared to shoot. The outlaws picked out 5 people to go with as hostages and commanded them to stand on the running boards of the vehicle.
Damn.
It's like the outsides of the car.
Yeah.
These hostages were Leo Olson, a bank teller, Mildred Botswick, Alice Began, Emma, man, there's a lot of fucking weird names. Emma Nabok, and they were both stenographers, and Mary Lucas. As the Packard sped away from the bank, patrolman Harley Chrisman managed to shoot out the radiator.
Oh.
Shortly after they left town, they swerved to avoid collisions with 2 horse-drawn milk wagons.
The cigarette milk
I was
guys.
gonna say.
Always comes back, baby. Always comes back. Moments later, Dillinger released Olson, then made the woman get into the car, which was already packed with the rest of the gang, their guns, extra gasoline cans, and robbery loot. Bill Conklin of West Wilson service station on South Minnesota Avenue saw the Packard coming down the street with smoke pouring from the hood and assumed the car was on fire. He ran to the station, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and ran back out. One of the robbers said, get back in there, as they slowed up for him. So just It's like, all right. This guy immediately turns back around.
I'm certainly going back inside.
Yes, sir. The car eventually began to slow down right outside of town, giving 3 pursuing police cars time to catch up. 2 miles outside the Lakeland farm, the gang got out of the Packard, made the hostages stand around them, then opened fire on law enforcement. Which another
That's
scene
super
from a
tough.
movie. Got the hostage in front of them, and they're just dumping automatic rounds just at these cops. The 3 squad cars retreated. The gang then hijacked a car owned by a local farmer, Alfred Mush, and transferred the gas cans and money into it. About 10 miles outside of Sioux Falls, the gang released their hostages and drove off. The hostages were eventually picked up by a passing motorist who drove them back to the bank. The police scoured the highways by ground and air for over 50-mile segment of territory south and east Sioux Falls. The men they were looking for were believed to have ditched the Dodge that they had stolen for a quote big Lincoln about 2 or 3 miles northwest of Schindler. From St. Paul came the assurance that 20 police cars were patrolling all the roads leading to St. Paul and of Minneapolis. But the gang made it safely back to the Twin Cities and began preparing for the Mason City heist.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Let's see, and we're cooking. We got a couple more pages here. 7 days later, on the afternoon of March 13th at 2:40 p.m., the same 6, Dillinger, Nelson, Hamilton, Green, Van Meter, which is a fucking funny
Awesome
name.
name.
Yeah, my name is Van Meter. So what do you do? Meter vans. And Carroll, plus an added 7th as a probable driver, either Joseph Burns or Red Forsyth, drove down State Street in a 1933 blue Buick 90 series sedan with the rear window removed and parked in front of the Mulkey's prescription shop. Something like that. So everybody's got
You
weird.
can't even see it.
Everybody's got weird fucking names in this story.
I can't see.
All sources tell a different story as to who went into the bank and who patrolled outside, but it was believed to be certain that Dillinger took position outside the front entrance with Nelson on the north side of the street, near the alley behind the bank, and at least Hamilton and Green entered the bank, probably with Van Meter. From descriptions by witnesses later, Tommy Carroll was also positioned outside. Carroll stood in the doorway of the prescription shop on State Street. Freelance photographer Casey Knuckleman. So many
They just keep going. It's like Casey Knuckleman,
H.C. Knuckleman.
I think it's
Van Meter, and we got Ted.
Kuckelman? Kunkelman?
Kunkelman.
So this cuck happened to be filming the bank when the robbery began.
He was just watching.
HCK, if you will, was told by one of the bandits to turn off the camera, and that he would be doing that he'd be ones doing the shooting, which is also a fucking hard ass thing
You
to say.
turn off the camera. I'm gonna do the watching.
He began filming once again. Filming again once the gang made their getaway. The 5-minute film still exists. Green and Hamilton and probably Van Meter entered the bank and fired volleys of shots against the wall and the ceiling. 31 employees, approximately 25 customers were ordered to put their hands up. Tom Walters, a bank guard positioned in an elevated bulletproof observation booth near the front entrance, fired a tear gas canister, according to procedure, which hit Green in the back.
Damn.
Yeah. Walters' tear gas gun then jammed. One of the robbers, either Van Meter or Green, sprayed the booth with machine gun fire, which shatters the glass, but leaves the security guard, Mr. Walters, unharmed.
Wow. It was probably Green,
Yeah.
considering he got hit in the back.
Yeah, probably. Tom Barclay, a clerk, threw a tear gas grenade over the balcony of the lobby while the tellers cash drawers were being emptied. Drawers 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, missing 5. About $5,000 total. Hamilton grabbed assistant cashier Harry Fisher. Harry. That's you, Marty. You're Harry Fisher.
Yeah, I'm here.
Had brought him back to open the vault. About a week earlier, Eddie Green, most likely, had appeared at Fisher's door asking for directions, and then peered attentively at Fisher's face. Something that Fisher will later remember. Directions for alternate routes for the getaway were also mapped out at this time. So dude just happened to be the same dude at the bank.
Wild.
Super coincidence. Once they got out of the vault, Hamilton Once they got out, Hamilton erred by allowing the steel gate to close and lock between him and Fisher. Fisher now can only hand stacks of about $5 bills to Hamilton through the bars, greatly reducing the gang's take from about $250,000 to $52,000.
Oh.
So dude fucked up, accidentally closed the door. They just lost $200,000. Just like that from that simple mistake. During the robbery, Green would periodically yell out the time to the others, which, this is a very, very well thought out hit.
Yeah.
2 minutes, just like going through, waiting for that time to, those 8 minutes to ring up. Meanwhile, crowds began to form outside after word had spread that a robbery was in progress at the bank. James Buchanan, an off-duty officer who had grabbed a sawn-off shotgun when he heard about the robbery, hid behind the Grand Army of the Republic monument.
Jesus.
Unable to fire because of the crowd of people, he instead exchanged barbs with Dillinger.
Wow.
One of the robbers, Dillinger was the only one for whom a clothing description would be provided: light gray suit, dark overcoat, and a dark hat. Buchanan called back for him to get away from the crowd and that he would fight it out with him. Buchanan said that Dillinger's upper lip turned into a snarl as he talked. Dillinger, armed with a Thompson, drew a .38 special from an inside pocket and fired at Buchanan, but missed. Tries to kill him, dude. Wow. Just like, he's son of a bitch, pulls a pistol out, rips a round off at him, misses.
I think that's the only one we've heard of Dillinger trying to shoot, but it was not provoked.
That's the only just from an argument of them having where they're like, he's like, come out and I'll fight you, you coward, and he's like, fuck you then. Tries to kill him, misses because he sucks. Outside the bank, Nelson was acting somewhat crazily, firing in random directions. One man, R.L. James, was hit in the leg by one of Nelson's bursts. Tommy Carroll came over to check on James's condition.
Wow.
Which is also kind of scary because you're like, oh, fuck, he's going to come over and kill me. And he's like, you okay? You're right. You're okay. You'll be okay. An oncoming car came and Carroll blasted it with his machine gun. The radiator of the car was filled with lead. Quote, the radiator of the car was filled with lead, and a frantic driver backed out at a rate of about 25 miles an hour to throw that shit in reverse and said, I'm out of here, Terry. From his third floor office of the bank, police judge John C. Shipley heard the gunfire and went to the window. Dillinger sent a volley of shots in Shipley's direction, warning him to stay back. The judge retreated, but went to his desk and grabbed a pistol, then returned to the window and opened fire, hitting Dillinger in the left shoulder. So now Hamilton, Green, and Van Meter, with a large canvas bag full of cash, left through the front door of the bank, surrounding themselves with the hostages that Dillinger had collected. The entire gang moved as one around the corner into State Street, with Dillinger in the center of the group. Judge Shipley again was at the window above the bank and risked firing into the group, this time striking Hamilton in the shoulder. When Hamilton saw R.L. James lying on the street wounded, he said, I thought there wasn't going to be any more of this. Nelson, who had now joined them, said, I thought he was a copper. It's like, I don't think he actually thought it was a cop. I think he was just being a fucking psychopath and just shooting into the streets.
Yeah.
How much is that in today's money?
$52,000 in today's money is over 1.1 mil.
Woof. And they were trying to get a score of 250 mil.
So
from one bank.
Yeah, 250,000, right?
That's nuts.
Since they only got the 52, they're at about 5 mil.
That's insane.
total.
Well,
Up until
up, yeah, for
like everything over.
all encompassing, yeah.
Yeah.
So Nelson then stopped two women who had just come out of a nearby butcher shop and were at the intersection of State Street and the alley district, or the alley directly east of the bank, and marshaled them to the car and commanded them to stand outside of it, same just as the last robbery. Before they reached the car, Nelson snatched the package of meat from Mrs. Clark's hands and threw it on the ground and stomped on it, silencing her protests with, "You'll get paid plenty for this." It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, give me your meat. Throws on the ground. Super, super rude, dude. The number of hostages varies wildly in Dillinger books, but in the Mason City Globe Gazette from that day names 11 people. A couple women sat inside the car on the robber's laps. Bill Schmidt, an employee of the Kilmer Drug, was delivering a bag of sandwiches to the bank, was stopped by Dillinger and also shoved into the Buick. While riding through town, the bags of sandwiches were discovered and were quickly eaten by the gang. Which I think is just like, it's also just a weird humility moment, you know? Where they're just like, he's like, "Give me your fucking sandwich." So it's eating this dude's sandwich. The Buick slowly moved north on Federal Avenue to 2nd Street, taking a left, headed west to Adams, taking another left. The car stayed about 25 miles an hour within the downtown area. Near 4th Street, Clarence McGowan, along with his wife and 5-year-old daughter, spotted the car. McGowan began to pursue the bandit car after mistakenly believing to be the vehicle loaded with people on the outside of the car to be part of a wedding or some sort of wild demonstration.
Oh, good.
I like, he's like, "I gotta leave my wife and kids. I gotta follow these people." And just like chasing after him. He was shot in the abdomen after getting too close to the Buick. McGowan went home, bathed before going to the hospital. Both McGowan and R.L. James, Nelson's casualty, recovered.
Oh, good.
So both of them recovered, which is good. The Buick stopped from time to time so that the roofing nails could spread across the highway. Just sacks full of them, dude. Just dumping just sacks of nails across the highway. Oncoming cars were stopped by the gang in order to stay where they were for 5 minutes before moving on. Bill Schmidt said that the, quote, "the bandits would drive fairly fast on the straightaway, but slow down for the bumps." The hostages were let off a few at a time individually. Miss Clark, who was carrying the meat from earlier, and Mrs. Graham were the last two hostages to be released. At a point 3.5 miles down, 3 miles south from and a mile from half east of Mason County, asked if she would be able to identify the men. Miss Clark said, "I sure would. Especially the one who winked at me," which I assume was fucking Babyface Nelson, who was like, he's like, "You get paid for this," like throws it on the ground. The Buick was found in a gravel pit about 4 miles south of the city later that evening. According to police, 2 cars had been waiting for the gang, one driver in each. And just like that, the Dillinger Gang has evaded law enforcement for now. Did everybody have fun?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I fucking love like old-timey robbery stories. That's why I like love like Old West stuff. I want to do an Old West episode again real bad.
It doesn't feel real, but it was real.
It was so real. Like it's also like, I mean, like the dead officers, they is awful, right? And but it's like these guys like they killed them because they got too close.
Yeah.
But like they shot that one dude by accident. Like Babyface Nelson shot him by accident, and then the other, R.L. James or the fucking was it Connor or whatever comes over and he's like, "Are you okay?" Like starts checking on him. Yeah. It's like, "Hold this on your leg, like protect yourself, like don't bleed to death." And like they just were kind of like, "We're just here to rob this place, man. I'm not here to really shoot anybody." That's why they're firing up into the ceiling. Like
they were like, also they were just doing like entertainment outside.
Yeah, like, I just love that image of Babyface Nelson out front, just like driving off around them. And he's like, "Oh yes, it's so fun." Police are like, "Get the fuck out of the way! Get out of the way! I need to shoot this guy." And they're like, "Oh, it's so enjoyable." Meanwhile, he's just like, the crowd loves it, man. The crowd loves it. And he just like tries to do like a cool trick, like fails, and he's like, goes back to it,
Yeah.
It's just so stupid. But that is the end of part 1 of John Dillinger and the Dillinger Gang.
Heck yeah.
The Dillinger Escape Plan. John Dillinger. John Dillinger.
It feels weird the fact that we've recorded this one before the one that comes out before this episode.
Yeah.
Because, like...
They're coming out on the same day.
Yeah.
So.
It feels weird because, like...
Yeah. Well, last week's episode was a bust. But last week's episode that we're supposed to film is going to be coming out next month on, like, I believe it's the 82nd anniversary, something like that.
Nice.
Something like that. It's me really crazy.
Something like that.
Real crazy. Yeah, man. That was everybody had fun. That was good. It was a fun robbery story.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends, pull clips of the show, do whatever. Just give us some credit. If you have any suggestions for a show, or if you've experienced something supernatural, something scary, whatever it may be, email us HGOPodcast@gmail.com.
Or if you have a cryptid that you want us to cover.
Yeah.
Or if you witnessed a bank robbery in the early 30s.
Also that.
You know, he's got a point.
Yeah. Were you a bank in the 1930s?
I was actually the flooring of the bank in the 1930s.
Also, if you
Okay.
were the lady carrying the meat and the person that gave him the sandwiches.
Oh, shit. If you were the sandwich, hit us up at HGOPodcast@gmail.com. Let's see. You can go follow us on Instagram at HGO Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at HGO Podcast. Want to follow me on Instagram and Twitch? You can at I Have the Haunted. I'm out there. Check it out. I got a link right there in the fucking corner. If you guys want like cool merch shirts, let us know, dude. I'm thinking about prepping a little street team stuff. Get some stickers out. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Pass it off to Tay.
Hi, it's me. It's Taylor. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lunar Thrill. You can also follow our dog on Instagram at Spirit the Turv.
Spirit the Turv.
That's about it. I don't got anything exciting going on. I'm just here. Marty.
Mr. Cow.
Burnett.
You can follow me on Instagram. Psych drink, bitch. Chug, 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 chug. Go, go, go.
I can't.
Follow me on Instagram at Ghetto Feather.
Oh, God. Oh, it's so warm.
Oh, it's
Stay
warm.
burpy.
It was too cold last time. It's too warm this time.
It has to be like the right temperature. Oh, it's like, it's a warm chorus. Oh, don't like it. That's not a warm drinking beer. Remember to stay
Burpy. Stay haunted.
Yeah. Remember to stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
And stay burpy.
There it is. Bye.